Sibilance, sibilance. Freebird. Okay, everyone, this is page 16. And I'm just trying to talk with my new mouth of missing teeth. Um, in case you're wondering, don't adjust your dial. This is indeed Dr. Lundell reads Ulysses. Page 16. All Ireland is washed by the Gulf Stream, Stephen said, as he let honey trickle over a slice of the loaf. Haynes, from the corner where he was knotting easily a scarf about the loose collar of his tennis shirt, spoke. I intend to make a collection of your sayings if you'll let me. Speaking to me, they wash and tub and scrub, agon bite of inwit, conscience, yet here's a spot. That one about the cracked looking glass of a servant being the symbol of Irish art is deuced good. Buck Mulligan kicked Stephen's foot under the table and said with the warmth of tone, wait till you hear him on Hamlet, Haynes. Well, I mean it, Haynes said, still speaking to Stephen. I was just thinking of it when that poor creature came in. Would I make money by it? Stephen asked. Haynes laughed, and, as he took his soft gray hat from the holdfast of the hammock, said, I don't know, I'm sure. He strolled out the doorway. Buck Mulligan bent across to Stephen and said with coarse vigor, You put your hoof in it now. What did you say that for? Well, Stephen said, the problem is to get money. From whom? From the milkwoman or from him? It's a toss-up, I think. I blow him out about you, Buck Mulligan said. Then you come along with your lousy leer and your gloomy Jesuit jibes. I see little hope, Stephen said. From her or from him. Buck Mulligan sighed tragically and laid his hand on Stephen's arm. From me, Kinch, he said. In a suddenly changed tone, he added, To tell you the God's truth, I think you're right. Damn all else they're good for. Why don't you play them as I do? To hell with them all. Let us get out of the kip. He stood up, gravely ungirdled, and disrobed himself of his gown, saying resignedly, Mulligan is stripped of his garments. He emptied his pockets onto the table. There's your snot rag, he said. There you go. Page 16 for you. Arguably the most important page of the entire novel. Um, there's a lot of fun stuff in here, especially on this page. I like the idea of honey and the land of milk and honey and the idea of the promised land, which is what the book is about, also in a sense, with Bloom looking at posters of Palestine and stuff. Zionism. There's also this idea that you all have when you go on your Instagrams and you put a picture and you think you're going to be rich and famous because your friends tell you you're funny and then you're not. This is what's happening here. Haynes is like, I'm going to write down everything you say because everything you say is so incredible. And Steven is like, well, if I can make money on it, you can do that. Again, showing how entrenched these young men are in the system of capitalism, that it comes down to always or often talking about money. not only getting money and having money, getting more money and owing money. Um, it's the beginning of the 20th century, the rise of the cities, in particular Paris, London, New York City, and the rise of capitalism. And all the good Marxists out there will say that it starts dictating every single thing in your life, including morality. And I think you can kind of see it here a little bit. Buck Mulligan says, "Wait till you hear him on Hamlet, Haynes." Stephen's obsessed with Hamlet. Ulysses is based loosely on Hamlet, as well as the Odyssey. About existence, to be or not to be, that is the question. Um, I really like thinking about Hamlet as if like Hamlet is actually nuts. Like the kid is actually nuts, and he did not see a ghost of his dad, and his uncle did not kill his father. But since Hamlet believed it so much, he made it to be true, and everyone died because of that. Maybe it doesn't matter. In any event, this is page 16, and today is June 16th, 2026. And this was sort of done coincidentally, but I realized it 2 days ago. So I made it happen at the behest of my good friend Abigail that I would read page 16 on June 16th. And if you don't know this yet and you're still watching this video for some reason, maybe you're crack, I don't know. Maybe you're doing weed and crack together and you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. But this book, like I said, and I think I said the date incorrectly before, this book takes place over the course of 24 hours. And the date of this book is June 16th, which has since become known as Bloomsday. And Bloomsday is sort of when people celebrate this book. So happy Bloomsday. But I don't know what I make of the celebrations. I mean, I secretly do want to go to Dublin and walk around like Bloom and eat a sandwich with cheese, and but I'm not going to wear period piece suits. And I think it's kind of arrogant, and I think it, in a way, it might even do the book a disservice to turn it into a kind of like costume party. But I know James Joyce would find it very amusing. Joyce picked this day, and he even puts the actual weather in here. I think it's 1904, June 16th, 1904. The book is set on that day, even though Joyce published it in 1922, because it was the day he met his wife, and they went on their first like date. Nora Barnacle. So it's a kind of a really beautiful homage to her and her influence on his life. Mm, I don't know. I really like some of these sentences because Joyce doesn't reuse words a lot, which is really rare, I think, in writing. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I think a lot of writing, a lot of popular writing, like repeats a lot of words and repeats a lot of tones and draws the reader in because the reader is satisfied on hearing these repeated words, like a little baby maybe hearing like his toy. What I don't know where I'm going with that, but a lot of pop writers do that because pop is not art; it's just kind of there to ease the mind of regular people. Exactly. And this kind of shit, this is art And don't get me wrong, I think pop can have art. I think pop can have be art, I mean, but not all of it. Most of it isn't. It's garbage. And art, I'm not talking about art like as being, I don't know. This makes you uneasy. This makes you mad. This makes you frustrated. This makes you pissed that you bought this book. This makes you pissed that you can't stop reading it. This makes you, feel really stupid. This also makes you feel really smart because you're reading it and you have it. And look at these sentences, they're all over the place. Uh, Haynes, from the corner where he was knotting easily a scarf about the loose collar of his tennis shirt, spoke. Boom. That is like a labyrinthian description of what's going on. And then Haynes says, he spoke, colon, so we know this is Haynes speaking. I intend to make a collection of your sayings if you will let me. Period. And notice there's no quotation marks, there are these dashes. M dash. And then the next sentence begins and it says, speaking to me. We don't know who this is. Is this a narrator? Is this Haynes? Is it Stephen? Is it Buck Mulligan? Is it a ghost? Is it the ghost of Hamlet's father? Is it James Joyce? We don't know who's talking here. And this is the kind of uneasiness that this book throws at you left and right. Just when you think you understand that three young men are talking to each other in their dorm room, there's this shit speaking to me. They wash and tub and scrub. Ag and bite of inwit. Conscience. Yet here's a spot. Yeah, I think it's Steven. I also think it's Buck Mulligan. I also think it's Haynes. I also think it's James Joyce saying this. I also think it's the ghost of Hamlet's father saying this. Um, it's all these things. And it's a really good piece of evidence of, again, what's coming up, which is just pure madness and um, pure like, I am going to make you so angry at this book, you're going to throw it in the trash before you get to chapter 4. And that's what happens with chapter 3. Most people look at it and they're like, fuck this, fuck. I don't care. I hate this person. I hate this these words. I don't know what any of these words mean and they're just pissing me off and I'm not going to look it up. I don't give a fuck what they mean. I'm just going to throw this book in the trash. And James Joyce would be like, "Yes." I had this friend who worked at Barnes and Noble, and he said his Barnes and Noble sold the most copies of Ulysses in the country. And he said because anytime anyone came in, and they often did, and were like, "What is the best novel?" He would sell them a copy of Ulysses. Say this is the best novel. So happy Bloomsday! I'll upload this on Bloomsday too. Page 16. Think about this, kids. Why is this page the most important page of Ulysses? Um, yeah, I'll talk to you later. Drink some water. Be nice to each other. I'm around. Give me a call.